Well, welcome back. It is Monday and it is blame time. Welcome to the Blame Girl podcast with.
Mr. Terry Wayne right here.
See, you're on point. You're on point. Dom, I used to have to be like Dom. So I like that. I like that. Thank you. So how was your week?
Professional. My week? Hang on. My weekend was great. Had a great weekend. Just got a lot done. Got a lot of work done.
On the weekend? On the weekend?
The whole weekend too. My particular industry is kind of getting slammed right now, but hey, that's all right, man. Got to make all this money before the world ends, right?
I agree. That's kind of how I feel right now about my business. I'm just like totally slammed, and it's weird, but I can't complain. I worked this weekend, and I did do a small happy hour with a friend. And we distance. Are you seeing any people right now?
I am. I mean, look. I'm selective about it. Mainly lady friends. But that's all right. I always wear a mask on my dick, so it's fine.
So you're dating during COVID. You're taking
I wouldn't call it dating, but I'm helping to keep people comfortable in these trying times. Yeah, I mean, we all got to stick together, right?
I agree.
We're in this together, where we stand beside each other or lay on top of one another. It really doesn't matter. Like I'm willing to give up a lot for social responsibility. Yeah, a couple things I'm not.
Not that. All right. Are you ready to do some blaming, Mr. Terry Wayne?
Oh, I've been aching for it this week.
You love it. You love doing some blaming, don't you?
When the right situation meets the right particular fuckhead of a person, oh God, I can't wait.
Yeah. Speaking of fuckhead of a person, that brings me to the first blame. Our governor, Ron DeSantis. Guys, he does not care about his own kids or yours. Who's to blame?
Now, I would say his family.
His family? You think they're just a trash family, like he's trash?
Well, maybe if abortion was legal when his mother got pregnant with him, maybe just blame that.
You're not a fan. So basically, this is what troubled me this week, right, Terry? I'm reading about this positivity rate,
right.
Florida, Texas, Houston, my old stomping grounds. It's like 1 in 4, 1 in 5 of people tested are testing positive. However, in Florida, when it comes to the children, 1 in 3 or 31% of a positivity rate for COVID-19. And we are sending them back to school. That's why I think our governor does not care about his kids or yours.
That's fair, because I don't have kids and I don't care about his. So I think that's completely fair.
So as person, you're okay with them just going back to school? You don't give a fuck?
No. I've got 2 nephews in school. One of them has pretty severe autism. And so it's really important for him to be around his teachers. He needs that structure. You know what I mean? Obviously both of them do. They're both in primary school, but for him, he really needs it, because that's not just his teacher. That's his teacher and his counselor and his support system. So he really needs it. And no, I don't think they should be going back to school, because it's not him I'm worried about. Everybody knows by now that kids are in the lowest risk group. However, teachers, staff.
Lowest risk group?
No. I mean, lowest risk group to face, severe complications from it.
Oh, okay.
Like they're in the lowest, severe ICU setting, and death rates.
Yeah.
But I'm worried about the teachers, the faculty. I mean, kids aren't in school alone, Everyone going down to the goddamn janitors, everybody's there. And then you also have to worry about the kids contracting it, because they can contract it. Like you said, 30% of the kids tested have it. So they're just little asymptomatic bombs that are going to catch it, go home, give it to their parents, give it to their grandparents, and spread this thing around. It's never going to end. It's never going to end.
I was just thinking back to my time as a teacher, and when I was a teacher in the high schools, just during the break, during the passing period, it's like claustrophobic, packed in there. So I don't know what that's going to look like. I mean, if everyone wears their mask, okay, but I mean, we can't get adults to do that, so I know it's not going to happen with the kids.
Well, what I loved? I loved his stupid ass argument because anybody that's like these anti-maskers and this whole conspiracy theory jive around the whole damn thing, it's all from the same type of person, and they're all making the same stupid dumbass argument, which is, well, if fast food is open and that's essential and Walmart's essential and Home Depot is essential, like DeSantis says, well, then educating our kids is essential too. Yeah, well, if you go to Walmart, you don't sit next to another person for 8 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't stay in a confined classroom with 30 other people.
Yeah.
For an extended period of time. I don't even think masks are going to do shit at that point. Yeah, and kids are least likely to wear masks on their own. They're the most likely to take them off because they're uncomfortable. That's, adults will do it mostly, except for the small faction of morons. But kids, they don't understand repercussions like that. Yeah, you can't give them responsibilities. The same reason why you can't have sex with them, because they don't understand.
Exactly the same reason.
Yeah, it's exactly, yes, exactly. Anti-maskers are the same thing as pedophiles. That's what I'm saying.
Pedophiles, that brings me to the next blame, guys. We have our very own Marie Antoinette by the name of Ivanka Trump.
Oh, here we go.
And he wants Americans to just pull themselves up by the bootstraps and get a job. Who's to blame? Why don't you tell them about this, Terry? You brought this one to me.
Who's to blame? Her fucking father and her grandfather both, and her life of privilege. I mean, first of all, you use the word, she never used the word bootstraps and pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. But that's a great point, because a lot of people don't realize that pulling yourself up by your bootstraps was a comment. It started out as a joke back in the mid 1800s that the poor used to use against the wealthy, because the wealthy would say, why don't you just become wealthy? And they say, yeah, I could do that. It'd be about as easy as pulling myself up by my bootstraps, because it's fucking impossible. Yeah, it's impossible. You can't physically do it.
Well,
and now people use that as like a make it your own way kind of bullshit.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what Ivanka meant. And she thinks that we should focus more on like trade schools. And if like one industry is not working out for you, just find another one.
Yeah, exactly. The hashtag was try something new. Because every person that I've ever known on the bottom of society.
Like, what are you talking about?
That's their problem. They just don't try. I mean, you might as well say, well, if you'll work harder. Meanwhile, she has a job in the White House that she wouldn't have in a billion fucking years if her father wasn't a billionaire president, if he's a billionaire.
Pedophile. So
yeah, pedophile too. Why not? He's an anti-masker. I'll say it right now. I think the president's a pedophile. Yeah.
I agree with that completely.
On record.
She really thinks that it's just that easy to. And you know what? It's funny that you brought up Fred Trump, because I've been listening to Mary Trump's book too much. Always too much and never enough. And Fred Trump did not care about college. He sent his kids to school because he's like, well, that's what you do. But he wasn't like, oh, you're so smart for going to Harvard. At least the smart Trumps that came from that bunch.
Well, that's because the whole Trump family doesn't give a shit about being smart. That's not how they make their money. They make their money by being fucking conniving and ruthless.
Avoiding taxes. That's also
no, just being conniving and ruthless and do whatever it takes. Goddamn the consequences about anybody else. As long as you get yours, that's all that matters. it's an evil family. And I know I have personal dealings with the Trump family for 20 years.
I'm gonna just explore some of these. Let me see. Okay, no. I was gonna read some comments, but our comments I got them too late. It was for our last one, but
Oh, okay.
I guess I could read them, right?
Sure, why not?
Jason Pellish says that the kids, they are the lowest risk of transmitting. Also, I don't know if that's verified information, especially coming.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, live with a kid in your house, a primary school age kid in your house, and see how many times you get sick. All right.
And Carlos says kids are viruses. Yes, we know that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, anything else on Ivanka?
Oh, I got so much more. Because that just echoes a sentiment that I have heard my whole life. And I've heard it from every successful person that I've ever known, whether it be a man who's made it on his own or a woman that's made it on their own, or even women who just married the right guy and now she's got that beautiful American dream life.
Yeah.
They always say the same thing. They always have this blasé, arrogant attitude that is just so condescending. Be like, well, why don't you just work harder or just be smarter?
Call them privilege. Don't you dare.
The hardest working people I've ever known in my life were some of the people that worked for me at City Place or Boston Market or Taco Bell. These people making minimum wage, but they've got 2-3 jobs, you know? And the poorer you are, the harder you work, because the harder you fucking have to, because this whole financial system is completely rigged against you. And you have to work 3 jobs just to maintain a minimal life.
Just for her to say that right now, when everyone is impacted by COVID and our movement as humans is limited, that means that the movement of the money is limited. You know, for her to say that, like, just try something new.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, so easy. So easy. You know, she should tell that to her father. Why doesn't he go try something new?
I agree. I definitely agree. All right. So another thing I'd like to discuss is in Portland, they're like really beating up on these protesters. In Portland, basically, they created this zone.
Yeah.
The Chaz zone. Am I saying that right?
I don't know the name of it, but yeah, it's basically a government-free zone that they've created right in the middle of Portland.
I didn't follow it too much because honestly, I thought it was a bit silly. You know, I mean, I appreciate their efforts nonetheless.
It's Occupy Wall Street again. That's all it is.
I don't appreciate what's going on with them. And basically, this week or this weekend, the feds basically said that they were protecting their property and started beating up on these kids and also disappearing them. So, but one thing that stood out to me about this protest was there was a woman, they call her Naked Athena. She just goes out and she does naked yoga.
Yeah.
And just opens up, spread eagle towards the cops. And they leave. Is this the trick? Like, law enforcement fears the power of the pussy. Who's to blame? Who would have ever thought that?
Well, I mean, just to be honest, if a good-looking naked white woman sits down in the street in front of a bunch of male cops and spreads her legs and they all leave, there's something wrong with her vagina. That's what I think. You know? Because normally if a naked woman that's even remotely attractive spreads her legs open, you're sticking around to watch the show. I know people pay good money in New Orleans for that kind of shit.
I watched one of the videos. Somebody was like, did you see the cop? He turned his light on when she sat out. I was like, what? But I just
giving her a pap smear.
I was so moved by that. And when I first saw it, it was like, these memes with like someone from Twitter tweeting something, and it was this black chick, and she was like, now this is a white woman using her power.
Right.
A white woman using her power against the police, and I approve.
She can use that power against me anytime she wants.
Hey, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And then, more recently, like moms, they're trying to protect those kids. That's a little bit more palatable for people, but they're like protecting the kids with like human mom shields. Why are
Yeah.
we just, it's like,
It's a brilliant idea. I thought that was a great idea when they just lock in arms and they're just because
yeah,
let's face facts. Let's face facts. We all have this subconscious thought in our head, and a lot of those federal agents are going to be a lot less quick to bash somebody with a nightstick if it looks like their mom. You know,
uh,
that's
okay. I was just messaging with our guest. It looks like he got dropped again, but I'm sure we'll take care of
it'll.
that.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
So we'll get to him shortly. We have one more thing we wanted to cover. I mean, I don't know why law enforcement fears the power of the pussy. I just don't. It doesn't make any
No,
sense.
they fear the power of the people. That's what it is. And in this particular case, yeah, you don't really want to be running up like in this day and age in
Mm,
2020 after the Me Too movement. You don't want to be videotaped running up on a naked white woman. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it's not going to work out well
if
on
black
CNN.
woman, it's okay. Like, whoop her ass, right?
Well, no, probably yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but yeah, it would probably
They've
be a
been
lot more forgiven.
they've been
But yeah, that's I mean,
so.
those Midwestern moms aren't going to care about it as much.
The last thing I wanted to touch on was that I don't know if y'all, it may be too young of a crowd to remember Chuck Woolery, but Chuck Woolery deleted his social media after his son got COVID this week.
Yeah,
Who's to blame?
the Republican Party.
Why?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because this is the way Republicans, as we discussed last week, I was a Republican for 10 years, from the time that I was 18 to the time I was 28.
Mhm.
Uh, So I definitely know how they operate and how they think. And the thing about Republicans is they do not take anything seriously or they do not think progressively until it affects them directly. And a great example of that is Dick Cheney, one of the most evil conservatives that have ever fucking lived in this country and
Mhm.
former vice president. He's a perfect example. He had a very hard stance against homosexuality, homosexual rights, and homosexual marriage for years and years and years until his daughter came out as lesbian. And then all of a sudden, he lightened his position on everything. And all of a sudden, he was Mr. Progressive when it came to gay rights. Go fuck yourself, all right? See, that's my problem with the Republicans in general. There's
Look,
no
I'm
empathy.
not
They're
saying
all hypocrites.
I'm not
All of them.
saying that Chuck Woolery, he didn't even retract anything. So if
No.
you don't know,
Oh, he totally retracted it.
oh, he
Yeah,
did.
right before he deleted his Twitter, he said COVID-19 is real and it is very dangerous.
Okay, okay.
And
So
he completely took back his statement, which I don't know if you mentioned it, but yeah, he basically said this is all a hoax and it's bullshit. And then it got retweeted by President Trump,
hey, Joy.
and then it got retweeted by President Trump. That's where the news story came from, and then his son got it. Which, yeah, karma.
I
That's
want
what
to touch on one other thing though. That like I almost want to blame. It's not just his negating COVID, but it's a little bit of racism from him that same week, right? Or like not even that same week. It was last month. He says, "How
Well,
about reparations for all the white families whose sons and daughters and fathers fought for the?" He's opining on like he's
yeah, it's just close-mindedness.
I don't know. Maybe it's more directly related to the COVID statement, but I saw them both in the same week, so that's why it stood out to me.
Oh no, every real true conservative has at least some racism in their heart or head. They
Yeah,
can't it's that whole bootstraps mentality. If you haven't made it, it's because you haven't worked hard enough, or you're
yeah,
not smart enough, or you made bad decisions, or you got hooked on drugs or alcohol, or some bullshit like that. They've got an excuse for everything as to why other people are suffering and they're successful until they get caught, by their wife banging another woman. And then oh no, I'm a sexual addict. Now, you know what I mean? And they love to tell you you're just being a
that
victim until, yeah,
escalated,
they love saying, oh, you just got a victim mentality. That's your thing. Go
and
fuck
then
yourself. Are you kidding me?
All right. So that's about it. That's all I wanted to discuss regarding blames this week. I think it's about time to welcome our guest, who I am super excited to have. This guy is very funny.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Bring on my good friend, comedian, hysterical, and he's making some new web videos. Give it up for Hennessy Williams, everybody.
Woo! Hennessy, welcome.
Speak.
Can he hear us?
Apparently not.
Uh-oh.
Brad, we have an issue.
Brad, help. Hennessy's ignoring us. Uh-oh.
Oh, and now he's gone.
Okay. So
Well, we'll get back to Hennessy in just 1 minute.
why don't you tell the crowd a little bit about Hennessy? He's your good friend, so.
He is. Hennessy's a great local comedian from South Florida. Oh, hang on. Brad's contacting me now. Let me handle this.
Okay, and then Hennessy says he's speaking. Okay.
All I can do.
Oh, there we
Wait.
go. Finally, there we go.
We got out.
We are trying a
Gotcha.
new platform.
It's robot high school.
Just so everybody knows, we are using a
This is a mad robot.
new video system tonight. New video system tonight. So
We're testing it
Wow.
out. Thank you for being patient with us. Hennessy, welcome.
I don't even know if you guys can see me.
Can you not
yes,
hear us? Hennessy, you
No.
can't hear us?
I get worried that the only thing I can ever talk about is like COVID. It makes me feel like a shitty comedian. Like, oh, you can't think of anything more? But it's such a big deal to act like it's not. To act like it's not on your mind all the time. I don't know how people do it.
Can he
can
hear
you
us?
hear me?
Is that, or did he?
Okay, you guys can hear me. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
can
keep
we?
talking. I
Can you
can't
hear
see
me?
anyone or hear anyone else.
Oh,
This
no.
is just out into the void.
Brad, he
I feel
can't.
like Mark Maron,
Okay.
just in a garage talking shit.
I'm just gonna text you
Why'd
some
I take
questions.
a sip
then.
like that so dramatically? I don't know. I hope you guys figure it out. I'd love to have a conversation with you.
Okay.
Well,
We'll get it together.
No, we'll go interactive here.
we
Alright.
will get it together.
Mhm.
We can do anything when we work together, you and me. We will be possibly floating
Sorry, guys.
when we
Fix.
work on things together.
We can see you.
Ah,
We can hear you.
I was raised on Barney. I think it's like Barney, Sesame Street. At any moment, I'm ready to break into a song that's about what I'm doing right now.
Okay. I'm in a group together, Terry.
I'm going to hold this pen in front of the camera. I'm going to hold this pen until I'm back on. I'm going to hold this pen in front of the camera because it's the way that I write my songs.
Check your messages. Messages.
Okay. Well, I guess
My buttons.
something else to talk
Oh,
about.
this
I'm
is just a
Nope.
disaster.
I know.
I still don't see you guys.
I told
I'm seeing you in Facebook chats. Like I got it off screen, but I don't like on screen. It's just me looking back at myself. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna keep going.
Terry. Oh my God. Everybody? Well, that's what happens when you are the experiment, the test group. I don't know what happened. I wonder if I should leave and come back too. I'm not sure. Stand by.
Hennessy, can you hear us?
Uh-oh. Whoa.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear or see us?
I can see Flame Girl.
Can
I
you?
can hear the nerd.
Oh
Okay.
no!
All right.
Oh,
There we go.
should we
Hi,
just
I'm back.
Brad?
Hello?
Hey,
All right, I'm back.
You can hear us?
Yeah.
I can hear and see Terry.
Yeah,
Can't hear
perfect. That's fine. I'll hear your questions, Gio, and then I'll relay them back over to Hennessy, and then vice versa.
Awful. Okay. Um, Go ahead. You
What?
go ahead and start then.
Okay, fine. If you want to try and log off and log back on, that probably will help.
Okay.
So Hennessy, tell everybody about yourself, man. Tell them how long you've been doing comedy.
All right, guys. I've been doing stand up for coming up on 5 years in the fall. It's been pretty wild of a journey.
Yeah.
A lot of ups and downs. No,
Well, yeah, of course.
it's been cool. It's been dope doing stand up because it's one of those things that I always wanted to do since I was a kid because I consider myself a stand up lifer. I was watching stand up since I was like 3 years old. Like
Right.
it was just on the television and I just kept absorbing it.
Yeah.
And I lived my entire life saying one day I'll do stand up. Never did it. I fucking got a job. I went to school. I did a bunch of stuff, but I never did the stand up thing. And I was like, you know what? It's time. At the
Yeah.
ripe age of like 26, I said, it's time.
Hey, yeah, it's the same thing for me, man. I just listening to it, watching it growing up, and just evening at the Improv on, 33 on the UHF networks every night, just watching stuff like that. And I didn't have the courage to try it until I was 30. So, I mean, you don't have to be, wanting a millionaire celebrity existence to do stand up. You can just
No,
do it
what was
because you love it.
that's 100% true. And what was funny though, what made me kind of upset with myself is because I never shied away from
Channel
performance.
33 on the UHF networks every night, just watching stuff like that. And I didn't have the courage.
I would.
Gio, we can hear you.
Yeah, it threw me off. I was about to go into something
Yeah.
and I just heard him again.
Yeah, like I'm listening to myself talk. Yeah.
No, but I was gonna say that the thing is because I was always into performance, right? I was always some kid looking
Right.
for some spotlight in some way to the point where that's what I majored in college was vocal performance. And I was just like, I'm gonna always be in the spotlight. I wanted to be funny, but I like couldn't turn it off in the places where you're not supposed to be funny.
Right. No,
Like
and
you're singing
I
an
have
opera and
that.
you're funny.
Yeah, I have that same. I have that same disability of just not being able to to be a normal, serious human being for 10 minutes. Because to me, it's
Dude,
I don't know. Maybe it's the same. Maybe it's different. I just think all of life is kind of like worthy of parody and worthy of satire. I mean,
that's
the,
just the
the
comedian in
sheer
you though.
fact that the last thing you do before you leave this earth is shit your pants, that just makes me think the whole thing is fucking hilarious. You know?
Yeah.
All of
You're
life is
wired that
hilarious.
way.
Yeah,
You're
because
wired
you
that way.
get,
Comedians are strangely wired in that, I was like, you can see the dick in any picture. Like a
yeah,
comedian is just
yeah,
capable of finding the absurdity because there's
yeah.
people who make a living out of just crying. Like 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 if you ever met a malignant narcissist, they can't no humor, no
Yeah.
humor.
None.
Everything is
None.
deadly serious.
Yeah, but you get the shit kicked out of you enough, and then everything is funny because again, you're just gonna shit your pants and die one day. So why not just make as many jokes as you can until then?
Just walk around
So,
with a diaper, ready to go at any moment. YOLO.
so we exactly. Just wear clean underwear. That's what your mom always said. In case you got into an accident,
It
little
doesn't
did
matter
she
if your
know
underwear is
it's not
clean.
gonna be clean
Everyone
for
is gonna.
long.
Yeah, it doesn't
What?
matter. Wear clean
Yeah,
underwear. Why? So it's not extra shitty. It is just gonna be shitty. There's no. Once you discover shit in underwear, you're not like that's not that bad. You know,
right,
just think that.
right. So let me ask you. You were listening to our blames, and you were listening to just going over a couple of things. What's your opinion on Governor DeSantis?
Oh, him? He's an
Yeah.
idiot who thinks that this is the way. Um, he's so he you can clearly see he is someone who was brought up in the Republican system. You listen to the people, you play to the crowd. That's what all Republicans to me have become, wrestlers. They become professional wrestlers who just give into the inclinations of their audience, and wherever the audience will take them, that's where they will go. They have no plan. They have no forethought. They have no conceptual.
wrestlers. They become professional wrestlers.
The biggest thing is they don't even have the intellectual curiosity to be good at the grip.
She's doing it again. Gio, mute your mic or get involved. We can hear you. We can see you. I don't know if she can hear us, though. That's the thing. We're trying to get this technical difficulty worked out. But I love your point about how politicians are now wrestlers, because Donald Trump, our president, famously was involved in the WCW for at least a moment as that publicity stunt.
Yeah. They picked that guy. They picked the guy who's always about television. He's always about the TV numbers.
Yeah, that's all he cares about is notoriety. He doesn't care. He's like one of these guys that doesn't care if the car runs right, just as long as it looks good. You know what I mean? He doesn't care if he's broke, just as long as everybody thinks he's rich. Then that's fine.
Oh. Okay, I lost Terry, but now I got you. Gio. Well, now I have nobody. All right.
All right. I'm going to call it for the night. This obviously is not working and is borked beyond recovery. So we're going to try this again.
Okay, how do you want to...
I'm just say goodnight to the nice people.
Okay, guys. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night.
All right. I will reach out to everybody afterwards. Apologies to the audience. We'll get this sorted out. Thanks. Bye.